I've got to apologize because I've got like a little earworm in my head where I keep singing the John Legend song "All of Me" when I think of your film "All of You."
Okay.
Um, so sorry if I burst into John Legend in the middle of this chat. This is such a beautiful film. It's
Oh,
just
thanks.
I think that there's I don't know the I know that it's a romantic drama, but there's comedy in there, and I love when
Mm,
films don't easily fit into boxes because that's boxes are rubbish. And
yeah.
I
Thanks,
think
Edith.
that taking a look at romance and love in a kind of contemporary way, in a just slightly alternative way, is so refreshing. Um,
Thank you.
but you're a right romantic at heart, clearly, if you've written this.
Well, it's easier to write than it is to do. I think I think I write
Was
it so
I
I don't have to
sane
do
or
any
was
of
I
it.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get it all out and go back to repressing all of your feelings.
What was the catalyst though to writing this with Will?
Well, we made a short film like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and the short film is essentially the first 10 minutes of the feature. And it was just about these best friends going for a walk, and he's taking her to a clinic she wants to go to take a test to find her soulmate. And he secretly hopes it's him. And then he finds out it isn't him. And then we just kept coming back to this short film. We kept wanting to come back to these characters, and over 10 years we were doing other things, but we'd keep talking about Simon and Laura, Simon and Laura. And we kind of mapped out their lives. And then we were like, this is a film. And so we made it, but it's kind of about like it is about love. It's like what is love? And this idea that there's one person meant for you is kind of like, but what about the other people? What I think anecdotally, a lot of people who've watched the film tell me they have a relationship like Simon and Laura, that there's someone in their life or they've had who was like a best friend, but this what is this? What is that? Is that not love as well?
Yeah.
And and I think I don't know, we're just trying to make a much more hopefully nuanced and complicated, more realistic story of love rather than like in a rom-com the other guy is always boring and a dickhead if it's a love triangle. So it's
Yeah.
very easy. It's very easy to go, we'll just go with the hero because the other guy's a boring dickhead.
Yeah.
But in this one, we want to be like no judgment on all on any of the characters and make it really
Mm.
difficult. It's like her husband is her soulmate. There's a reason he's her soulmate, and he's fucking great. So the whole
Yeah.
thing is hopefully complicated in a good way,
Yeah.
not a bad way.
Totally. I think like even the end, I was so kind of like, yes, with the ending because
Mm,
it could have been so easy to go another way with it. Do you know what I mean? And I
yeah,
and I feel like the way that life is complicated and you can't follow an easy path. You
yeah.
do that in the film, in terms of, well, what are they going to choose and why are they going to choose that? And I think it was so not brave, but I just feel like, God, yeah, that's great because the easy option would have been, I think, to go the other way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean the ending is, and when we when we showed it at the London Film Festival, we did a Q&A afterwards, and this older gentleman raised his hand, and I said yes, and he was crying, really crying, and he said, "Was that a happy ending?" And I said, "I mean, maybe. What do you think? You seem to be crying a lot, but I think on some level it is like there's progression. Something's happened." Uh,
Yeah.
but I like in an ideal world, you're leaving. Like I'm obsessed with David Lynch, and I love the idea of leaving people room to dream, and you're giving them enough that here's your whole story, but there's also space for you
Yeah.
to have your own to continue dreaming it,
I think as well, we've almost got room for like the before series as well of catching up with them again and like,
I'd love to do that.
yeah, like so let's park them for what 5, 6 years and then come back.
Yes, yes.
She's on holiday in California.
This is exactly what you're don't because I'm gonna have to credit you. We've already got this. Don't do it. Stop now. Stop being
Yeah,
clever.
stop, stop. Um, Imogen's, I mean, you two are fantastic in this. This
He's
is
amazing.
like weirdly, it kind of is a bit like art. And then what's the way around? Art imitating life or life imitating art? In that, these friends who've got chemistry, there's obviously something there. You can't force that on-screen chemistry. You can't
No.
make it work in the way that it does. And you two have just got something. It's just this kind of two pieces to a puzzle that even when you're not saying anything to each other, you can kind of feel the energy and feel that connection on screen.
Yeah, she's phenomenal, and I find that sort of thing. The whole chemistry thing is so like it's magical. I can't explain. I've heard theories on it, and I've heard other actors. I know I won't name them, but I met an actor who's like, "Oh, I can have chemistry with anyone." And then I watched them in a different film, and I was like, "No, you can't. You don't have chemistry in this one." Like, like it is sort of. It just is, and I think I've been very lucky in my career. Like, I believe I have it with Temple in Ted Lasso, and
Yeah.
it's just magical. I don't know why, and it's and you're, but with Imogen, it was, I've talked about this a bit, but truly, genuinely, I met her on a Zoom. I thought, given her previous work, which was all heavy, heavy drama, heavy, heavy miserable stuff. I thought she's going to be a bummer, and she came on the Zoom and she was so funny, and we were laughing, laughing, laughing. With 5 minutes, we were 5 minutes in, we were laughing so much, and I genuinely felt like I'd known her forever. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
that's what these characters are. Let's do that then. It was very
What
easy.
when you were writing scripts, and when you are writing, does music form, is music a companion with you? With this, did you have ideas of how you wanted the music to sound, whether it be needle drops or, score? And
Yeah,
when you're
it's.
writing, do you have music?
I've been thinking about talking to you about all this stuff because I, with music, I'm like, I love music. Music is too powerful to me. Like, as in, because I told you I repress all my feelings, music affects me
Unleashes
deeply.
them.
Yeah, and I don't, sometimes I don't like the power of it. And I realize I was a really like depressed kid. Like I was a miserable child generally, I think. And I used to listen to sad songs. And there were always like sad songs. My dad liked there was always sad songs in the house. And then when I was about 18, I found hip hop. And I was like, I didn't know life. Oh, I didn't know. Sorry, I didn't know we could have fun. What's this? And uh, and it was a real like, God, it's so powerful either way. Like it can make me depressed, it
Yeah.
can make me happy. And I also know with writing, sometimes I listen deliberately to stuff, and sometimes I'll put on, like essentially like chill spa sounds, just to kind of, because it does influence you
Mm.
so, so much when you're
Yeah.
writing. Like if you put on, it will change the course of your writing based on the music you've chosen. And I think, and the other thing is, from my experience of making stuff, this is why I was like worried about talking to you because I was like, I always feel like not an expert in it because I have currently found the hardest part of making stuff is trying to communicate to the composer what I would like. And it's because I don't have the language of music. I don't know I just know how it affects me. I know what it
Yeah.
feels like, but I don't know the words. I don't know, when it's
That's all
like,
right.
it's often, it takes long. I worry that I frustrate composers because they're like, "What do you mean? Make it
How
feel."
do you think I feel? I'm a total imposter. I've got to chat to people every week about it. I don't know. I just like what they do.
Yeah, well, I'm the same. I'm just a fan, and it is. You know this. It's so obvious and basic, but it's true. Like music completely changes the scene and
Mm.
changes changes everything. And we try, at the beginning of this film. We had these amazing composers, and they did such a brilliant job. There was a version of the film where we tried it where the opening of it had uh, not quite this, but the equivalent of "This will be everlasting love." Like
Stay in love. Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
tried a version where it's like setting you up, like, "Hey, it's a big fun
Richard
romance," and
Curtis vibe.
it works for that sequence and for the beginning, but then you realize, oh, we're really going to take a turn in this film, and people are going to be like, "Hang on, what? That's not what you promised us. Why am I crying?" And so, you can't. We tried it, and it looked good for a minute, and then we took it out, and I think there's that. It's all kind of, to me, it's so magical music, and it
Mm.
isn't. And part of me almost doesn't want to learn. I don't want to know. I don't want it spoilt for me. I don't want someone to say, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
just maths and it's this and
Yeah.
this." But I do find it hard to. I have found that the hardest part of making stuff is trying to communicate what you want, because you also don't know until you see it or hear it and there's limited time. You know, you can't forever go, can
Yeah.
you try something else? Can you try something else? And you feel bad sometimes because you're like, I can't explain why this isn't right. You know what I mean? But this doesn't feel quite it. And that's difficult and
But
not
but
fair on them
yeah.
because
But
they're like, what do you mean?
but the fact that you just said about trying out something on the film and it not working, it's like,
Mm,
well, you do know because it's like it's told you what doesn't work, and so
yeah.
you know to try something else. Does Laura and Simon have a song?
Well, there's themes. Yeah, that is the thing I love in film. And I do understand that you sort of give subtle themes that build,
Mm.
and then in the end you join them together. You know, I do, and that is I really like the music on this film because I think it's actually pretty subtle. Because that's the other thing with when you're making an emotional film like this, you don't want to force. Again, you know, you can do this with music very easily. You can make people cry unearned, and also you want to give with a film like this where we're trying to let the audience make their own decisions. You don't want to
Yeah,
lead them with the music, and I think we hold off until the very end. The very end does
yeah,
have the very end is like, here we go. It's all
yeah.
coming out. It's a
Oh yeah.
release. But the rest of the film is, I think, very restrained musically.
Yeah, I think that's so true because like you say the kind of the way the music can identify something before it's happened, it's kind of like that's you
Hmm.
made that kind of right choice. So it was Drum and Lace and Ian
Ian
Hart,
and Sophia.
yeah, that you worked with, yeah. And he
Yeah.
used to be in Passion Pit, I heard as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
I
Yes. And
love that
they're a
band.
couple. Yeah. Yeah. They were so
So
great.
good.
And this was, it was fairly straightforward with them. They just were very good and sort of
Yeah.
had it quite early on.
Do you think but do Simon and Laura, do they have a you know like how couples have like oh that's our song. Do they have a did you ever
Do
talk
they
about
have,
that? Yeah, do they have a song? Do you know what I mean? Like
well,
it comes on yeah.
do you know what? I mean, me and Imogen would play each other so much. There's like this film is 25 locations. We shot it in 23 days, and
What?
yeah, yeah. So it's pretty like it was pretty hardcore, and
You were bouncing
we,
around Airbnbs. I mean, those locations,
yeah, we were,
you need to like put some kind of like TripAdvisor thing up for all these
yeah,
amazing places that you stayed at. I was like, I want to go and have a
yeah.
sexy weekend there.
We needed Simon and Laura's TripAdvisor
Yeah, guide to
link.
sexy weekends.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That is a great idea. Um, but so we spent a lot of time in the back of a car, me and Imogen, and we would play each other's songs. That was sort of one of the ways we bonded and stuff. And oh, that was I forgot we did this. Oh my, yeah. Will, the director, the brilliant director, Will Bridges, he asked us both to make a playlist of songs, Simon's songs that make him think of Laura. And so I did like 20 songs and she did the same of songs about me and then we sent them to him. And I think he played them a lot, played those playlists whilst doing the edit, like when on his way to the edit and stuff. So yeah, I forgot that. That's
What kind of stuff was
a
on
lovely
your
addition.
playlist for Laura?
Do you want me to find it? I have it. I can actually, I can find it in my playlist. What did I have on it?
Songs for Laura. You need to release the playlist, Brett.
My, my Laura
The
songs
Lauras of
were,
the world will be like,
I mean, it was like some of them very obvious, like I Want You, Elvis Costello. uh, a lot of Labi Sifra.
nice.
You know the most beautiful song ever that I think speaks to their relationship is "Bless the Telephone." Do you know that song?
No,
Oh,
I'm
you
writing it
must.
down.
Such a perfect, short, perfect, beautiful song, and it's
What a
an
lovely title of a song, though, as well.
yeah, it's
Bless
an
the
ode to the
telephone.
phone. It's just hearing from his lover, and like, thank you for this magical device that lets me hear you in the day. It's really
Wow,
beautiful. Yeah.
that's so nice. What about for you? Because I love your podcast
Oh, thank you, Edith.
and your kind of love of film. But what about
Yeah.
love of soundtracks? And kind of have you got favorite soundtracks from films for you that
Yeah.
have stayed with you?
You know, one of my all-time favorite soundtracks is Leaving Las Vegas. I used to play that a lot, but that is also really depressing. That's one I had to stop
That's in
listening
your
to.
depressing phase,
Yeah.
yeah? Before,
But it's beautiful. It's really beautiful and very like That's kind of sexy depressing. Leaving Las Vegas, you're like,
It's the
God, I'm
best.
so depressed and horny. Oh, yeah, leaving Las Vegas, I love. And then there is like
Mike Figgis, he's a genius.
he is, he is, and he's just made Megadoc, right?
Oh,
Is
I
that
don't know.
him? Yeah, I think he did the making of Megalopolis.
Oh,
Think,
wow. Did you
yeah, I
like
think that's
that?
it.
I loved it.
You like Megalopolis?
I just
That's
like
good.
went with it. I just like
Yeah,
take me.
I love a big swing. And that
Yeah,
is all big swing. That is two and a half hours of big swings. Just
that's
swinging, swinging,
swinging left.
swinging.
Yeah, totally. I saw it in Cannes as well. That was,
Oh
I think, because
wow.
I was in the room like with him as well.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like spending Christmas with Father Christmas.
Yes. Yes.
It was just
Huge.
like, oh my God, yeah, it's mental. Um, I wanted to talk just briefly about shrinking, if you don't mind, as well,
Yes,
because I
please.
think that that's a brilliant gift. Um, Kind of just the sort of themes in that are just so brilliant. Um,
Thank you.
and I just wondered about writing for something that's set in the States as opposed to being kind of set in the UK, and if it takes a kind of different, I don't know, different approach, or if there's a different
Do
beats
you
or
know,
whatever in terms of when you're writing, or if you
I
don't
can
think
tell
about
you,
it like that.
well, I don't think about it as in I do think about it a bit because, well, I've always been a fan of American film and TV, and I kind of grew up watching it, so it doesn't feel it's not a sort of foreign world to me to exist in it. But there are differences, and the one thing I know, so for example, our film, All of You, could not be American because if it was an American film, it would be 3 minutes long, and he would say at the beginning, "I love you, don't go in there," and that would be the end of the film. You should be with me, he'd say,
He's a dick.
and
Come with me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but you should be with me. The end. Uh, like it has to be English because it's two people who can't say how they feel. But what is a thing that I learned when Will and I who made this film with, when we made this show Soulmates that we did together, which was an anthology show, we our notes that we would get from the execs about our scripts were always the same. Every single episode, the notes were the same. And the note was, why aren't they saying how they feel? And by the way, this is an American show, Soulmates, and we would say, oh, because it's unspoken, it's clear how they're feeling, and we'll do it with looks. And they would always say to us, but why aren't they saying it? We were like, because that's people, that's how people are. And when we got to the edit, we were like, they're absolutely right. It feels weird that these Americans aren't saying the thing. And so
Yeah.
for nearly every episode, we had to do a pickup, which was essentially the pickup was always just a short monologue of the characters saying what they thought and felt. And it was right. It was right for that sort of tone for
Mm,
America. They at least in narratives, they tend to say what they're feeling,
yeah.
whereas in England they don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind
That's
of the difference.
yeah. Um, Seeing you kind of sort of take this journey as well through kind of, taking on different roles within different types of things,
Mm,
leading man in a kind of romantic drama and stuff as well. It's so exciting kind of seeing you kind of play in this kind of in this kind of
thanks,
arena
Edith.
as well. But in terms of thinking about if you could be in the scene of any film or TV show, knowing how much of a fan you are of stuff, where would you like to place yourself from any film ever? Don't think about it
I
too
think it would
long.
be in Grease 2. I would be Maxwell Caulfield and I would be picking up Michelle Pfeiffer on the back of a bike.
Cool Rider.
Yeah, I'd be cool rider.
Oh my God, I don't know anybody else who likes that film. I
What are you
love that
talking about?
film.
It's an
Oh
amazing
my
film.
God.
Top 10.
Just
Talk,
the
talk,
best.
talk about a
Oh
soundtrack.
my
Talk about
God.
a
Talk
soundtrack I
about
listen to.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Gonna score tonight. All that
Yeah.
stuff.
There's a female butcher. What a lyric. There's a female butcher at the lunch and meat display. She delivers mice night and day. Incredible. You can't make it
I'm
up.
thinking remake.
Hmm.
Remake, Brett. Who's
Me and
gonna be
Michelle
your Michelle
Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer?
Michelle
Imogen.
Pfeiffer. Oh yeah, sorry, no, Imogen.
Oh my God, that is a great shout. That is such a
Yeah,
great shout.
thank you.
Um, what's happening with Hercules as well? We've seen him back on screen. That was a
I don't know.
massive, like, I loved the response of being in a cinema when you appeared. I was at a
What
pre, so no
was the
one knew.
response? Who?
Oh my God, no, it was just honestly, it was like being at a kind of WWE kind of like event. It was amazing. It was like a preview screening of the film, so nobody knew.
Oh, right,
So we
yeah.
were all seeing it for the first time. And I think that's such a unique thing, whereas an audience,
Yeah,
experience something communally for the first time, no one knows about it because everybody
yeah,
knows everything all the time. And
yeah.
it was awesome.
Oh,
So great.
that's
Oh,
nice.
I hope we do.
I genuinely have no idea. I'm not even being coy. I have no idea.
Well, listen, I've been wrapped up here, and
Oh,
I
Edith, I've loved
loved
talking to you. I wish we had longer.
same, same. Well, we need
Uh,
to do it again some
will
point,
you come and
but
do my podcast one day, maybe, and then we
I'd
can hang out?
love to. Don't know
Okay,
why I
great.
sang that in a weird high-pitched way, but yeah, I'd love to.
Okay.
Um, Congrats on this film, mate. Really, really brilliant, and
Thanks, Edith.
yeah, and everything really. So look forward to the next time. Thanks for your time, Brett.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was lovely to see you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and watch Grease too now. Bye.